Between this, Extraction 2 and John Wick, we've had a really great year for action movies. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Mission Impossible is just a series I've been a fan of for a long time now. It's a rare treat in that as the franchise goes forward, the movies seem just to get better and better, or at least maintain that same quality. The sixth one, Mission Impossible Fallout, was probably my favourite, with just new ways for Tom Cruise to try and kill himself, it seems. And well, going into this one, I just couldn't help but have big expectations for this. It was probably one of my most anticipated films for the year. We're 7 films in now, and it's just crazy because this one was just incredible. I swear down, you've just got Tom Cruise and Keanu Reeves fighting out for the best long-term action franchise out there. Although, the IMDb blurb for this is hilarious. It literally just says, Ethan Hunt and his IMF team must track down a dangerous weapon before it falls into the wrong hands. But in essence, while that usually would be enough to describe a film from this franchise, Dead Reckoning Part 1 does a bit more to separate itself from just being a film about insane action moments. This, out of all the other Mission Impossible films, feels a bit more story-driven and emotionally intense. In true sense, being the next film down the line, the stakes are bigger than ever, and the villain for this film could be a bit of a hurdle for audiences to get over. I think they managed to walk that pretty thin line of making that story work. It could have been perceived as a bit ridiculous, but the performances by everyone in here really helped sell what's going on. Tom Cruise is amazing in this, and putting aside the action stuff for now, because I feel like that has its own section to talk about, the character of Ethan Hunt has just grown so much over the years. Not only does he feel vulnerable, but also at times, he's very good with comedic timing as well. The scenes he shares with Rebecca Ferguson in this one is probably some of the most emotional bits I've seen throughout the franchise, probably right behind Mission Impossible 3's finale. Speaking of which, I really do feel like Rebecca Ferguson's character was a bit underutilized, and I don't know if it was because they had some sort of scheduling conflicts with her filming Dune 2, but they gave her character so much growth in this, it was just a bit of a shame that we didn't get to see more of her. In tandem, we then had the opportunity for a brand new character to step up into the spotlight, played by Hayley Atwell, and she was a great addition to the regular cast. She's just this agent of chaos, a catalyst to make everything go wrong, and not in the frustrating where you're like, oh for fuck's sake sort of way. It plays into a lot of Mission Impossible themes where they make the plans and it goes wrong. She's just a great method for that to happen. She also just bounces really well off Tom Cruise, enhancing those comedic bits but also having some really dramatic moments at the end. Simon Pegg and Ving Rhames are back, but again, not in it all that much, and Simon Pegg did get some pretty heavy moments sprinkled in throughout the film, but it just didn't feel like enough, and I'd love to see them both back for a bit of a larger role in the second part. I really enjoyed Vanessa, Kirby and Klementieff's roles in this for two very different reasons. One, for feeling like a great centre point to the story towards the end, having to portray a character as if it's being played by someone else. I thought it was really well done. And the other one is just a pure menace with a very intimidating presence every time she was on screen. The only real letdown I'd say is probably Esai Morales as the villain. Pretty bland considering how epic they're trying to make the story be. And circling back to that story, it's probably one of the more ambitious stories we've had throughout this Mission Impossible series, which works for the most part, but it did really remind me of the first Mission Impossible film. There's true themes here of twists and mind games being played throughout, and it's just supported so well, these twisted close-up shots they have during conversations, as well as this eerie score throughout. I think the composer, Lorne Balfe, absolutely smashed it. Probably one of the best scores in this franchise, but they also just know when to leave the music out. The action and the car chases are so good that sometimes they just don't have any music at all. That silence, it just draws you in even more. I will say that towards the end of the story though, it just got a bit too messy. There were just too many players on field where I felt like some weren't very necessary to the story, and it just made it feel like it was difficult to keep up with whose agenda was what. There was this closing monologue at the end of the film which I feel really contradicts one of the character's actions that happened literally 20 minutes before. Also, this is a part one, so keep in mind there's just really not much resolution to the story. But obviously I think what most of us care about is the action here, and it's breathtaking. You've seen that bike jump in the trailers, I presume. It's even better when you see the whole sequence play out in front of you on screen. And there's also just this really fantastic car chase that happens in Rome as well. Not only is it just exciting to watch, but it also provides one of the better light-hearted moments of the film. It's this comedic action that really shows us some great chemistry between Tom Cruise and Hayley Atwell's characters. But the finale just really kicks it up a notch with this nail-biting train sequence. Starts off with some great espionage moments, but turns into this crazy manic escape room sort of sequence as the train just goes tits up. And I've probably given a fair bit away talking about this one, but it's definitely one that you should watch. If you've ever liked a Mission Impossible film, it's up there with Fallout as some of the best. I also didn't see it in IMAX, and I wish I did because the cinematography is just beautiful. well-framed, clean shots that really do show us these new exciting ways Tom Cruise is just trying to kill himself. But it's out this week, so let me know if you're going to go watch it, or if you already have. I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe and all that. And as always, stay tuned for more reviews on movies, anime and video games. Until next time guys, take care. Bye bye.